Welcome back, EvoPod listeners. We are back to our podcast business.
Yep.
And I'm your host SK, and this is your.
Co-host Ruben.
So we are going to talk about something that you guys might be interested, which is crash dieting. Yeah. So sorry, we have been off for some time. That's because we just started the gym, and then after lockdown, and then we started the gym, and then we had some major remodeling on the flooring and other stuff. So it took us
You
some
might have
time.
definitely seen that on Instagram.
Yeah. And also we had some new changes on the packages, like we had group training, now we are having virtual training, personal training, and then so with all these quite hectic schedule, now we are getting some time to talk about some things. So today we're going to talk about crash dieting. Okay, I'm pretty sure you have done crash dieting, right? Because you started with losing fat. Yeah. So tell your
experience
first.
Yeah. So for me, crash dieting, I basically only ate one meal a day.
But that's very less.
Yeah, I was only eating one meal a day because I had this instance in when I was a teenager. When I was 13, I was constantly mistaken to be a female because one, I looked like my mom, and two, I had massive moves.
Yeah.
So in effort to lose the excess weight, I crash dieted. I tried to eat lesser, and by lesser I meant eating one meal a day, probably sometimes only 500, 600 calories.
Like, is it like, if let's say you ate like one meal a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you ate one meal a day. Was it on intention you want to lose weight, so you ate one meal, or it's like no, you went for like you just ate like one meal a day?
I did it because I didn't know of any other way.
So that means you want to lose weight, so you did like one meal a day.
Yeah, I didn't know any other way. Yes, I was working out and all that, but I didn't know how far to push the body. I didn't know about progressive overload. I knew that, okay, if this feels easy, I can go a bit more. I don't see any change, so I can go a bit more. But technically, I didn't know the intricacies of actually doing weight training, resistance trainings, or muscle activation, or learning how the muscle works and stuff like that. I didn't know, and I didn't know where to find out either. So I used to listen to my friends at school because some of them really had good bodies. One of them started training very early. The other guy just did calisthenics and his body was damn good. So I was listening to them. But I never asked anyone for diet advice. I never actually went out and sought any facts. I just did it because, people say it's because you're eating this much that you're actually gaining weight, right? So I thought, okay, fine. Since I'm eating this much and that's why I'm gaining weight.
So you just stop eating?
Yeah. Well, that didn't work.
That didn't work out as well. So that nothing you did lah. So that's the thing, like a lot of people, why they do crash dieting is because they think that, okay, I'm eating a lot, so I have to reduce this much of food, so I have to reduce most of the things that we heard is like they cut down the carbs, they don't eat the carbs at all, and then they just eat.
Before we move on, let me just tell you why it didn't work. Okay, the idea of it, why it didn't work, is because once you cut down that many calories, I'm sure you know that as well. Once you cut down a lot amount of calories, right, you don't lose the weight because you are lethargic. You don't feel like moving your body. You become lazy. You don't expend enough calories to actually be in a caloric deficit. So that's why it didn't work. Not because I cut calories and I was actually doing work and all that, and that's why and didn't lose calorie. There's no all that weird modes that you guys have that I cut calories but I still haven't lost weight.
So what they will think is, so they have this starvation mode where people think when you eat very less, so your starvation mode activates, your body is like preventing you from losing weight. Not exact. It's a myth. Definitely, it's a myth. It doesn't work like that. Starvation mode doesn't exist. So the only reason why most people, like you said, because of the need reduction, non-exercise thermogenesis activity. So when need reduces, so your overall energy expenditure reduces. So you're already eating less. You are like 1,200 calories. Let's say you are eating like 1,000 calories, and then you are eating 1,000 calories. So your body decided to make you to burn 1,000 calories. Indirectly, so you'll move less. Indirectly, your eyes, your body, your movement will be less. You walk very less. So this causes you to be at 1,000 calorie. That puts you in a maintenance calories. That doesn't puts you in a deficit. So that's why even most of the clients, like they do 1,200 calorie diet. So we push them to 1,200 calorie, and you can go there, and then you come back again to like 1,002 or 1,005 or 1,004 calories again, because that is not sustainable. That's definitely not sustainable. For myself, I even during my competition time, I went like 1,400 calories, 1,500 calories. I couldn't do anything. I was just sitting around, and then I didn't walk. I have to force myself.
I'm witness.
To walk like 10k steps a day, I have to force
I remember you walking around this area constantly.
I'll be walking around in the gym. The gym is like that, and then I'll be like walking around. I'll be forcing to finish 10k steps every day, because you couldn't even walk in that amount of calorie. So that's why you don't lose weight. So that's what we call it as crash dieting. You reduce that much of weight. Obviously, competitors do that for their body fat percentage. They have to reduce the body fat percentage, so they have to do that. Other than that, it's not beneficial.
Okay, the crash dieting, right, is when you're in a caloric deficit of say 200 calories, 300, 400, even up to 500 it's easy for you to adapt. Even 500 is kind of heavy, but it's easier to adapt. But crash dieting is when you're in such a huge caloric deficit that your body says, screw you, I'm going to sit, sleep, not do anything you want me to do. I'm just going to cover myself in the bed and not get up. So that's crash dieting.
And okay, crash dieting might work for some people, Like if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure about the research papers, but recently they did this research paper where they put people 1,200 calorie, and then they lose a huge amount of weight, and then they manage to maintain that weight loss for a very long period of time. But the thing is, it's not for everyone actually.
And it's not good for your health.
Obviously it's not good for your health.
The amount of mental
strength,
the amount of mental effect, negative effect that it has on your mind is ridiculous.
Because it can make you binge eat, and also, but I have seen people like, that's what I say. It's not for everyone. It's like out of 1 people or 2 people out of 10, 2 people or 1 people, they can manage to crash diet. They reduce huge amount of weight very fast, and then they can maintain it. It's like very less percentage of people. Most people, they will gain back the amount of they lost because they couldn't adapt towards the habit. They didn't change the habit at all. So when you don't change any kind of habit, and then you push yourself to a crash dieting like 1,200 or 1,300 calories, this causes you to obviously to gain back again because you're eating again the same thing. And
but then there comes the question, bro. Why is it necessary to go through all the risky and difficult process when you have a simple equation, calories in versus calories out?
That's the thing, like
it's so difficult to actually explain to people. No, because the explanation that we give is easy. We can just say how much you eat versus how much you expend is what you're going to get in as a result. But for them, it's like, do I need to check my macros? Do I need to check my micros? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that?
And another thing is they like, it's that easy, it shouldn't be true lah.
That's
that easy. It's too easy to be true. It is too easy and it is true. So you don't need to confuse yourself with like, okay, starvation mode, all this stuff, blah blah blah. You have to all this stuff, all you do
nonsense.
Like you have to do fasting, you need to do keto diet, you have to be like you have to eat in a specific amount of time, blah blah blah. So it's easy, like in out, carry in, carry out. It's very easy. It's just that most of the time it's like people don't believe it.
It gets kind of like, okay, there are so much more to it than calories in, calories out. Yes, but if we were to give you the details and stuff like that, oh, there's protein has a higher
Thermic
thermic,
effect,
yeah, and all this comes into play. Yes, but that's why people say, oh, maybe eat more protein. It keeps you fuller. Eat more fiber, keeps you fuller. So you eat less calories. All that comes into the same set, which is calories in versus calories out. So if you actually follow this one formula itself, you're already going to get your results.
And you no need to go until to like 1200 calories
Yeah.
or 1200. But most of the time, right, why people crash dieting is because of the cultural effect of the dieting. Because when you ask people, when we talk about dieting, they automatically will say certain things like cutting out carbs, eating too less, and then working out more and doing cardio more. All this stuff is a culture. It's a cultural thing when it comes to dieting, like dieting culture like that. Okay, so people surround you always do that. It's been like generation by generation, you know.
Yeah.
You won't believe that at our gym, certain clients, they are still not believing about the calories because of the cultural thing. Because majority of people are doing this, so they couldn't adapt towards this calorie tracking, and then you don't need to cut the carbs, the timing doesn't matter to lose weight. It's so hard for them to accept it. Even their brain can accept it, their heart is not accepting it.
Which is why it's so ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, you can see so many plans online, right?
Yeah.
That say, oh, this diet is better, that diet is better, this diet
Egg
is
diet.
better. Yeah, and when you explain to them whatever diet it is, you're still going to have to come back to the same thing. They're like, hey, but how is that possible? If I do carnivore diet, then I don't need to eat fat. You're still tied down to calories in versus calories out. If you're going for a vegan diet, if you're going for this diet, that diet, whatever it is, it's still calories in versus calories out. Your body reacts in the same way. Your hormones may be up and down because of the different micros and macros in your body, different micros in your body, amounts of micros, but the way it reacts, the way your body reacts to the amount of calories is the same. Body weight increases, you're eating too much calories. Body weight decreases, you're eating less calories. You're in a caloric deficit. If you're maintaining, you're on a calorie maintenance. Done.
And so, yeah, like I said, it's too easy to be true, right?
Yeah.
It's too easy to be true.
Oh.
Calorie in, calorie out. And dieting culture, all this stuff might influence you to get yourself into the crash dieting. But most of the time, yeah, I don't suggest people to get into crash dieting.
Yeah.
Like, reduce so much of calorie for what? Because another thing is, we have so much of things to do outside the gym.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
for us, only gym lah.
Yeah.
We are living here. We are sleeping here. We are eating.
I've been asking, can I just have that storeroom for myself, or I just put my bed there and sleep?
And then sleep. So basically, for us, it's all about gym. Not for others. Yes, you have outside world. Okay. Progress. Yes, it's true that you have to lose weight. You have to good look. You have to be healthy. You want to move better. All this stuff. Yes, it's true. But obviously, it doesn't happen in overnight.
Yeah, it's not your primary focus.
Yeah,
for
it's just
sure.
a secondary goal for yourself. You have to play with your kids. You have kids. You have your parents to take care of. You have other activities. You have
your
out.
job.
You have your job. You have to go out with your friends. All this stuff, you need energy.
Yeah.
You have to. They have to like sustain yourself where in a position where you can still enjoy your other activities and truly not dependent on your less of and less energy of yourself. Like 1200 calories. So okay, I am eating this. Okay, I'm very tired. I can go out. I can socialize. I cannot improve my other stuff. Imagine if someone who does hustling like 8 to 5 job and then on the side they do some business. So now you have to use your brain, your physical activities, and then you're staying at 1200 calorie, and then you do all this stuff. It's definitely not going to improvise your mental or your physical activity. It's going to downgrade on it. definitely, yes, you want to lose weight, you have to be in deficit, but not in the sense of it affects your outside activities. You want to focus on the business, yes, you have to have focus on the business, you have to have energy. If you want to work, you want to improve your wealth, you have to have energy to improve that as well.
And that's actually another reason why you should gradually reduce your calories instead of crash dieting.
Yeah.
Because if you crash diet, it hits you like that. If you're gradually decreasing your calories or increasing your calories, you are able to adjust to it much more smoother and okay. Like we started our card recently. You started last week. I started last week.
Yeah.
And of course, as you can see, I'm not in the best
shape
of my life. I've been better. I started at 92 kgs again, and right now in a week I dropped 3 kgs. Why? I increased my energy expenditure. I didn't decrease my calories. I increased my energy expenditure. I've been eating 2,200 calories, and I increased my energy expenditure by going for a jog or walk almost every day now. And I have seen the difference. Am I in a huge calorie deficit? In fact, what did I tell you? If by this week, by tomorrow, if my decrease in weight is extremely high, I'm probably just going to increase maybe 100 or 200 calories and see, because I don't want to lose weight too fast. If I'm gaining weight, then I probably want to dial back down 100 or 200 calories. So there is an adjustment to it, and I can adjust it more easily and using my brains instead of using like impulse, because I can still think. If I'm in too big of a caloric deficit, I'm not going to be able to think.
Yeah, like one of the reason why I don't want to get shredded is one of the reason is this too much of less calorie making. Imagine I'm saying 1,400 calorie with the amount of work that I have now. Can I do it?
No.
No. Even though I gradually reduce my calories, at one point I'll be like, okay, I'm done. I'm like, I really cannot do this.
Do I need to go any further?
So maximum I can go 1,800 calorie. Now I'm eating at 2,200. Okay, it's already like okay, quite less ready actually. So it's like you have so much of things to do, but you don't want to get to a point where it affects your other activities.
Yeah.
So what I would suggest for the people out there, if you really want to reduce so much of weight but in a short period of time, yes, crash dieting, yes, it will help. Yes, I won't say that 1,200 calorie won't make you lose 10 kg or 20 kg, but can you sustain it? Can you do other stuff while being in that amount of calories?
You can, but you have to track everything.
Yeah, you have to track everything.
Like if you're going to be in a 1,000 calorie deficit in that entire month, right?
You have to track
like suddenly just cut 1,000 calories off. You have to make sure that you track your amount of walking that you do, the amount of work that you do every day, the amount of food that you eat, all that you have to track.
To a point where you have to count your curry powder.
Yeah,
you have to count.
Then yes, then maybe you can sustain for that month or a month and a half. After that, it's safer if you actually increase your calories probably 1,500 at least.
Yeah.
At least.
You'll be much more happier once you from 1,200 to 2,500.
Oh my God!
All your food to eat. Okay, so I want to end this podcast. Actually, too long already. So we are trying to keep like 20 to 25 minutes.
If you want it longer, you can definitely say.
Yeah, if you want longer, then you can let us know. If you want shorter, shorter is quite hard. So much of things to talk about in a short period of time. So that's all for this podcast. I hope you guys got something out of it. I really hope that you guys won't crash dieting again. So track your calories and be very mindful about what are things that you are eating. So signing off, SK
and Ruben, stay safe.
See you soon.